Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 63 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. We're going to be doing some Firefox hacking today. It's going to be a great day. I'm really looking forward to it. I got a haircut. Let's see, anything else to report? Not much. It's going to be a fantastic day. Let's get down to business. Let's not waste time. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. What we got going on today? So here's my desktop. I'm switching to my Evernote. This is today's agenda in air quotes. I say air quotes because technically there's not really an overarching. This isn't a scripted series or anything. I only sort of know what I want to do. I kind of have a very vague roadmap, and things can go off the rails. So as a reminder, no plan survives breakfast. We'll see if everything goes in this order, but I don't expect it to. If things go wrong, that's okay. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. Yes. Am I recording? Yes, that's good. So the first thing I want to do is keep working. We're so close. This patch we've been working on for seemingly forever, making the initial browser remote sooner. So there was a failing test last week that I was having difficulty figuring out. I think I investigated it a little bit, but unfortunately it was Windows only, and that makes it difficult for me to demonstrate here because I can't get Windows on this machine. Uh, and I figured it out. I figured it out yesterday, actually. I found out what I need to do, but it also turns out that there's a bug in a long-standing bug in our window opening code, and I want to either find that bug or file a new bug about it. So I'll explain what the bug is just in a second, but I want to sort of give you more of an overview of what's going on. I should also point out that this thing that we're looking at, this agenda, is actually available to you, all of these links and stuff that you might want to click. If you scroll down to the additional links section, if you're on Air Mozilla, there is a link there to the agenda. That's a live version of this document. As I update it and Evernote syncs, it should update what you're seeing. You might have to do a page reload. I'm not sure. But that's hopefully useful to you. What else? So we're going to work on that. We're going to clean up some review feedback I got because I got some more feedback on this patch. We're going to clean up and post more patches for review. And then I want to go back to something that we started looking at and then I got pulled off of, but now things are starting to free up again. And that's improving our session store duration, our perceived session store duration. That also will make it so that when we crash the tabs, the background tabs do not have their favicons cleared, which is good. And that's actually a post ETNS shipping. It's not blocking ETNS shipping, but it's an important bug that we want to get fixed. So that's what I'm hoping to look at today. That's the general idea. And also in the background, someone is communicating with me. So I'm just gonna just tell them that I'm going to be with them shortly. Right now, we'll respond after. But what am I? I'd be showing you this conversation, except I don't think I don't have the consent of the person I'm talking to. I'm not sure if you just heard that there was I think someone in a different floor, maybe above or below us, just hit a piñata. I heard a thump and then a bunch of people cheering. So hopefully it's all positive. Um, Hopefully that's not disturbing you. So sorry, I'm done that conversation now. I want to get back to what we were doing here. I really apologize. Sorry for doing that off screen. That was probably super boring. Um, and someone else is talking to me. I gotta. Take it easy, people. I appreciate that you're reaching out. What's going on? Who's pinging me? Someone in Brenny says, "Get rid of the beard now. You get rid of the hair." It's true. Yes, I got new hair. Um, I know. Slowly, I'm getting more and more bald. Like it's just soon I will just be like, if you've ever played Mr. Potato Head, I'm just gonna soon just be the potato. That's the end goal. I will become a potato. Okay, so let's look at this stuff. Let's get into it. So where are we at? Um, oh, I want to find that bug. Let me explain what the bug is. So the bug is, and it's hard because I don't have a Windows machine to show you, and even if I did, it would be kind of hard to demonstrate. So I'll explain the symptoms. Basically, if you were to have your window maximized, um, and by max on Windows, I know I'm using OS X right now, but on Windows maximized, I mean the application takes the entire window. Your chances are, statistically, the people watching this are probably using Windows. That's my guess, anyways. And so you probably know what I mean by maximized. Anyways, if the window is maximized and a pop-up window is opened like this, if I open up a pop-up window, hopefully you can see this text. Yes, it looks like you can. And I'm just going to pump up the font a little. And I do like width equals 500, height equals 500. If I do that and a window opens, on Windows, if we were maximized, then the window calculation, the size calculation of the new window is wrong. And what ends up happening is that the window, like the browser area content, like the stuff that is where the website should be, like if I were to, I can't browse that anywhere, but like anything in here, if it were to examine the dimensions of itself, it will be about 498, 499. It'll be off by a couple pixels. And it's not a huge deal, and that's actually an old bug. That's a bug that's been around for a while, apparently. And um, I want to find out if other people have filed it in the past. Because if not, then I will file it. So I'm going to do a quick search. So you're going to watch me search for a bug. So I'm going to pump up the font, and I'm going to look for some keywords. So like window size. And if I can, there should be a way, because this only applies to Windows, I could look for like an operating system, hardware, platform, OS. I might want to search for like the OS being Windows. OS. So if I do like window size OS Windows, let's see what that gives us. So 170 bugs, great. Window open produces incorrectly sized child window. That sounds very relevant. That might be it. Windows using window open produce a smaller window than requested. That's true. Problem is that IE takes JavaScript to find window size to be the canvas area of the window, including the width of the scroll bars, which works on the basis of the pop-up windows Java. This is a really old bug. And is there a test case? Main parent window of the test case. For make sure that allow scripts moving. Okay, well this won't work anyways because it's for Windows only, but I suspect that this is the bug. But let me just double check. Window open, size 2 content. Window open wrong size every time. It's a crash. Size and position specs are not honored. So these all sound reasonably familiar. They sound right. Show the truth. I use Firebug. Can use safe mode. Same results in. I found same problem. So this sounds also similar. Size and position are not honored. Steps to reproduce. This is 7 months ago. This is a newer one. So on Windows. Right, hang on. I suspect I understand where this problem is in our code. To be sure, but I want to be sure. Reporter, who is wife Yang? Reporter, are you able to reproduce if the window is in the restored state, so not maximized? If you can't, but you can reproduce when maximized, then I understand how this bug works and can describe it here. Need more information from the reporter. Good. So I'm gonna use this most recent bug here. This is another one, but this is the same one we were looking at before. I'm gonna use this newest one. And I'll put a link to that in here in my notes. Cool. So the next is to clean up the review feedback. Now, Smog came back to me with some review feedback, and it's all great. I'm really happy about that. Some of it I want to ask whether or not I can do in a follow-up. So I'm going to open up Lime Chat. I'm gonna see if he's okay with me chatting about this live on our stream. So let me just ask him, and while we're waiting, we can take a look at some of the feedback we're talking about here. So let me pump up the font again. Okay, so the first two issues that he brought up were whether or not I should be using is void on a string. So I do all these checks to see whether or not like the feature string has been supplied. The feature string is this thing. Whenever you use window.open, this is like my canonical example of window.open. This is the URL that you will send the window to. This is the name of the window, and right here is what we call the feature string. This is where you can request a bunch of stuff from features from the window. And Smog has gotten back to me, so I'm going to interrupt for just a second. Okay, I have a few questions about the reviews you gave me. Do you mind if I stream our conversation live? Would you rather it happen? So yeah, this feature string here, sometimes if you don't supply it or if it's empty, then, and people are sending me messages. What's happening? Oh, he says he's about to be offline for a while. Okay. How about a really quick question then? Is, yeah, okay. Here they are. So I'm gonna bring the chat window over. Whoops. Come on. Okay, here they are. Am I correct that is empty implicitly will always return true, will return true if a string has been voided? And if so, can we not just use is empty in all places where you suggested to use is void? Second question. I agree that there is a lot of common code that can be deduplicated using helper functions. I'm committed to doing that deduplication work. However, would you be willing to let me do that work in a follow-up? I plan on working on the follow-up as soon as this stuff lands anyhow. A string can be empty without being void. True. String can be empty without being void. I wonder if that's a thing we need to think about. We explicitly set the string to be void if null features are passed, if I recall correctly. Ah, yes, that is true. Okay, I understand. I understand your concern. Okay, I can make this more clear in the patch. I can fix that in the patch. Regarding deduplication, is a follow-up okay? I just have. Could you perhaps deduplicate? Could you perhaps deduplicate in a follow-up patch, not a follow-up bug? Follow-up patch. Yes, I suppose I could do that. And will do that. Thank you. Okay, and that's it for the conversation. So now I know my direction. Let me just reorganize my windows over here again. Throughout that, people were like pinging and ponging and just trying to put out some fires here. Okie dokie. Okay. So what Smog is concerned about is I'm playing a little fast and loose with how I'm interpreting these strings that are being passed around, like the feature string. Because you can open a window with an empty string, like this. Whoops. You can also open it with no string, like this. And actually, under the hood, those are treated differently. Like if I have a blank string here, that's different than if I have a null string. It's very wacky, but that's a difference I think we want to maintain. So whenever the content process, like we can't just pass, you can't pass null through, or at least for strings, you can't pass null through the IPC layer, but from the child to the parent. Otherwise, this would, we could propagate it fine. The parent is expecting a string from the child, even if the child received null. So what we do is we like set this special flag on the string that is serialized and sent to the parent, and that flag is void. And if it's void, that means that the child sent us null. And that's important because if the child sent us null, then we like make certain decisions. And if the child sent us an empty string, well, that's also different. So Smog brings up a great point. We should definitely not be playing so fast and loose. Let's fix that stuff up. But first, let me explain the rationale in the review, because I had asked this question in here and I want to have the context captured. Smog answered the above in IRC. I'd forgot is void, and while it is true that is empty will return true if a string is voided, we want to have different behaviors when the string is void and when the string is empty, primarily because we act differently if the user passes no string for the features as opposed to an empty string. I think it behaves differently. Like whenever I just now, whenever I was doing my example, this is not the empty string. This is a string with some white space in it. This is the empty string, to be clear. And I'm pretty sure we treat it differently. We'll double check. We'll audit it because from what I recall, we act differently. So let's check that out right now and see if that's true. So I put that information in there. And let's take a look. So inside, I think it's contentparent.cpp. This is what receives the message from the child to say open a window, is in receive create window. Pump up the font again. We do all of this stuff to make sure that we can, and this is like what currently exists in the tree. This isn't my patch. And then at some point we check to see whether or not the strings are void. If the feature string is void, then we pass null to open window 2, otherwise we pass the string itself. So in my patch, what we do in here is I've switched us from using like raw C style char strings to our like abstract C string class. Instead of passing pointers around, I'm doing things by reference. And then what happens is do an internal open window internal. What is features in this case? Features is an auto C string for which we will assign features. Otherwise, we set it to be void. So if features were not passed, if null was passed, then features is void. Otherwise, we say that features were specified. Even if even if it's empty, if it was passed, then it was specified. That's important. That's important. So any of the places where I switched from like specified to is empty, we should be checking for void. Is void is the right call. So yeah, that's totally valid, and let's fix that right now. So this is in this patch, the use NSAC string patch. What do I have checked out right now? I've got the one just after it checked out, because you can see from, whoopsie daisy, you can see from the graph that's my @ symbol. It tells me where I am, so I'm going to check out this one. Whoops, and you probably can't see what I'm typing. Let me bring that up. So I've checked out the one before, and I've got a merge conflict, so I'm going to revert all. The reason I've got a merge conflict, I had some changes in that I hadn't like shelved, but those changes I'm already familiar with, so I know what I need to do, and I'll do it later once I fix this thing. So it was is void. We need is void instead of is empty, and I was using is empty instead here in calculate Chrome flags. if features is void, the feature string will be void. Is made void by open window internal if null pointer was passed as the feature string was originally passed as the feature string. So if it's void, and before we were checking to see if it was, oh, if not feature specified or not features. Oh, I'm trying to remember. In C, is the empty string falsy? Empty string falsy in C? Check if a string is empty. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not falsy. String's not null. Because, like, it's null terminated, which makes me want, but, like, the pointer itself points to, the pointer is valid, it's pointing to a null, it's not null itself. So, that's fine. So that must have just been, like, being super safe before. So we should be checking is void, and that's fine. And here, feature specified, we should be using, yeah, is, oh man, Smog is so good. Oh, he's the best. He, like, totally catching all my bugs. Yeah, is void is totally right. So that's done. Is void wouldn't be any better, but it would be more consistent. If not options. Do anything with empty string. Okay, yeah, he's right. Is empty is fine. There. Okay, so I think we've fixed all the issues with this one. Let's close out the issues in the issue tracker for the patch. Empty string will be. That's right, Brenny. Thank you for confirming. Thank you for confirming. I appreciate that. Boom, this is fixed. Boom, this is fixed. Brenny in the live hacking channel just confirmed my hypothesis, and I was feeling pretty confident about it. It's just been a long time since I've had to directly deal with C strings. Is a C string that is empty falsy? Because in JavaScript, which I use all the time, it's like the empty string is falsy. In C, not so much. Okay, so those issues are closed. Let's commit that and evolve. Let me just double check that the changes are what we want. Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're going to amend and evolve the changes, and then we're going to move on to this next thing. So this next thing, some of his, what he requested, I'm going to actually do in a follow-up. Stuff to a helper. Going to deduplicate the stuff from this patch in a follow-up patch that I'll put in this series. So I'm going to drop that. Same as above. Follow-up patch. Drop. That's a good call there. That's a good question for this. So not too many issues in here. There's mostly just little nits. Um, and then I've got like a little things to fix up here, and then we'll start Smog's deduplication stuff. Whew! There's a lot of patches in this bug. I'm so excited to get this landed. I'm really looking forward to that. There are merge conflicts apparently. Commit unresolved merge conflicts. Um, H resolve L. What are the merge conflicts? Window watcher. Oh, I never. After I reverted, I needed to do this. I need to mark. Whenever I did my update, and like I told you, I clobbered some stuff. I had to like fix the state in the file that was marked as like conflicted. So done that now. Okay, use C string. Yep, correct. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, 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 no doubt. I've been watching a lot of. Oh, another merge conflict. So let's deal with this. Um, hmm. This is a merge conflict, probably due to the void thing and the comment I added. What were we attempting to rebase? We were attempting to move the factor out logic bit. Um, and what does that do with the calculate Chrome flags helper? We probably don't want to change the contents of calculate Chrome flags helper at all. We should use the old stuff. The old stuff we were originally using. Oh, now I'm nervous. I need to do like a line by line check, resolve. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep. Yep, Chrome default, and then that comment. Okay, so I'm pretty confident that we're doing the right thing here. Then all that block, that block. Okay, great. And then the start of calculate Chrome flags. Whoop, calculate Chrome flags for parent. We should be using is void here, probably, but we'll do that in the next bit. We won't do it in this conflict resolution. We should be using is void here. And that comment that I copied, um, shoot, man, here, I need to copy this comment, yank, and then for parent, I'm gonna put it down here. This is where I want it. I actually want this one to be is void. And then up here, I'm gonna get rid of this whole chunk. Yeah, this whole chunk. And I'm gonna get rid of that, and then that's the only conflict. I'm gonna want to look at the difference later, but that was the only conflicted file. Now I will resolve that file. I'm gonna want to review that, make sure that I didn't screw the pooch there. HG evolve dash dash continue. Okay. So it evolved that one thing. We need to evolve the rest of them, yo. So that's this one, because these X ones are the ones that are obsolete because they've already been evolved all the way to window tip. So HG rebase, more or less, are that to window tip onto tip. Do it. Oh, not with no tip. Oh, how are you going to? Okay, good. Window tip. And there's merging happening. Okay, so this might take a couple minutes, but in the meantime, let's figure out what our next step is with this patch. We're looking at the reviews for it. The first thing I'm going to want to do is it's basically two minor nits and then a check to see whether or not we should be using is void or is empty in a particular spot. I had some unpublished comments here. How about the deduplication? So I'll publish that now. Rebasing like a mofo. Do I have a sound? Do I have a sound for rebasing? Got some Zelda sounds I haven't used in a while. Yeah, there we go. That one. I really like this one. Or the classic, whenever I figure something out. I really enjoy that. Okay, so we're approaching the end of all of this rebasing. If you're wondering why Mercurial is so slow, Git's even slower on a repository the size of Mozilla Central. So, so don't be so smug if you're a Git user looking at this and laughing. Any kind of like these operations on large repositories are very, very slow. And in fact, I believe Mercurial outperforms Git on large repositories. Is the whole point why we use Mercurial. That and because it's Python, and people here like Python. Okay, so going to be fixing up an IDL. Almost done this rebase. Let's check the peanut gallery. Anyone commenting in there about what's going on? Just Brenny talking about that the empty string. Thanks so much for the confirmation. Also, happy to see that you were working on the DVCS stuff for review board again. And then there's all these like ESLint things. These are annoying, but I'm pretty sure that there's not a whole lot I can do. But just to double check, ESLint help. I think there's a setup, -- setup, to make sure that I'm using the most optimal ESLint stuff. ESLint and approved plugins installed. Great. Okay. So now I've done my rebase. I'm going to start correcting what was this patch here, the factor out the logic patch. That's the one I was originally working on before I even started this stream. Factor out the logic. Oh, I've already got that one checked out. That's brilliant. Okay, so that's good. The first thing I wanted to do was I didn't want to forget the thing that caused that clobber problem before. And that has to do with the test failure from last week. Turns out it was so silly of me. We can't, so this here determines whether or not we persist. We have the browser remember the size of certain windows, and if the that way, if you change the size of the window, we'll remember it if you like restore the session, I think. Something along those lines. Anyways, that was causing the problem because I wasn't doing the check for persistence early enough. So now I have to do it before we size. I have to do it like I was doing it after, and now I have to do it before. That's the order. And I might want to add a comment. I won't. So let's see. The other things he had issues with was this file in here. He had like noticed that open window without parent isn't called for window.open at all. Correct. And that was or similar. Oh, super hard to view. What's he saying here? True if call view window open or similar. Ah, or similar. With call with window open or similar. Although window features if called with window open or similar. Via window.open or similar. Okay. And then down here, there is no calculate Chrome flags anymore. That's true. NS window watcher. Make sure we call calculate Chrome flags before we push the callie context. Make sure we calculate Chrome flags before we push the callie context onto the context of that. The calculation sees the actual caller when doing its security checks. Okay, fixed. And then the question was, should this be is void or is empty? And that was here on line 1783 and calculate Chrome flags for child. Features. I think that should be is void. Yep. I think you are right. Yeah. Is void. Great. Great, great, great. Is void. Great catch. Fixed. And this patch is done. Well, he's probably going to want to review it again. I mean, he didn't give it an R+. I don't think. No, he didn't. And he still has an open issue with these. Sure. So let me check out this patch now. So commit my changes. Let me just take a look at them. Open this in a new tab. Uh, right, quit. What I wanted to do was... Okay, what he says here is that my comment here, he thinks it's wrong. Sure, set primary content size does not gets the size. Oh, yeah, sets the size. Yeah, that's exactly right. Whoops. I was just careless. And I'm going to have to wait until my evolve is done before I can make these changes. It's one of the costs of having such a big patch queue. Chrome size depends on content size. Browser Chrome contains the content. Why Chrome size depends on content size. Browser Chrome contains the content. These values represent how much of the window is the Chrome. For example, in a window that's showing, for example, if how much of the window is the Chrome? For example, 32 pixels for the title bar or the toolbars at the top, and perhaps a window border on the bottom would, and perhaps 2 pixels for a window border on the bottom would mean we had 34 chrome height, mean a chrome height of 34 pixels. I'm going to drop that. Why is this needed for tab parent? I have to remember why that's needed, so I'm going to have to do a build probably. Another conflict problem. Size open doc shell item. Oh, because I changed the order of things. Parent window false. Yeah. We want to do, so we want to do the new thing, and that's size opened window, but we want to do the persistence before still up here. So that's good. Resolve. Graft. Evolve a dash dash continue. Now, the evolve kind of aborted halfway through, but that's okay actually. Maybe I can take advantage of that. Because the stuff I need to fix is actually in this patch that, yeah, I can take advantage of this problem. So now I'm going to go inside this file and gets the size, sets the size of the primary content area in CSS pixels. Bam. Fixed. And why do we ever want to return the normal size here? And he says that this looks wrong. Why do we want to set the top level size something which is meant for the primary content size? Why do we ever want to return the normal size here? had to add this to fix a test. The current behavior, if I understand correctly, if we do like size shell2, or if we look inside nswindowwatcher.cpp, size opened doc shell item is if we call size shell2. So size shell2 can be called in a couple different places. Size shell2, tree owner, size shell2. I'm trying to remember what the failure was. Intrinsically size on Chrome loaded. Why did I need that? We needed it for some reason. I can't remember what it was. Some test. Well, it'll be easy to determine, I guess. So let's do the needful, or is that the right term? Let's do our due diligence here and figure out what we need it for. Also, so what I've got now is in the state of this patch, I'm going to try and do a build, mock build. And it's doing a debug build. I don't want to do a debug build. I want to do a build with default, build with help, moz config, build with no vim. So this is moz config wrapper. Moz config wrapper? How do you tell it to stop build with? To build with, activate a moz config. Use build with. And how do I tell it to build with? Just name, active, echo, name, home active, echo, silent. Man, alright, so then I'm gonna need to do I need a new shell. Shoot. Okay, anyway, we'll do it there. Oh, it's still, we're still using moz config. So I'm still using debug. Great. Okay, so I need to create a normal one. Shoot. Okay. Moz config. Help. Moz config. MK moz config. Default. Moz config default. Moz config e default. And then the top source directory. I'm not going to set an obj_dir actually. I'm going to put all the gunk that this stuff basically. I don't need the rest of this. Autoclobber, enable marionette, task tracer, don't need it. I'm actually going to use Ccache. Enable warnings as errors. Not going to use ICC. For now, I'm going to... We have this thing in the office where we're like... using sleepy, like unused machines to help parallelize some builds, and we're using something called IceCC or ice cream and CC in the background, and it's only great when it only works really well if you've got like a really decent connection, and because I'm streaming right now, I don't want to risk hosing this stream by using it, so. And now we will build. Now, actually, the other while I'm waiting for that, what I'm gonna do instead of I canceled it. Whew, stepping all over myself here. The reason I canceled it is I also want to test and find out why I need to include this line here. So I'm going to remove it, and I believe it is for tab parent. That's why we need it, but I'm just gonna remove it just in case, just to find out. And we should get a build error. Okay. So now that that's more or less, like that's cooking, and I can answer some of these questions, I've got some other issues that I can clean up in here as well. These are minor ones. They were R+, so it's just like some nits to fix up. But I also want to think about some of this deduplication stuff that that Smog has asked for. So let's take a look at, let's take a look. So he asked for it in here. Sorry, I'm also just, I've got a meeting immediately after the stream. I mean, it's like I've got a hard stop, so I'm going to set an alarm so I don't forget. And I've got a meeting immediately after that one. So at 2:25, I'm probably going to cap it. And then another alarm at 2:57. Okay. Done. So he wanted me to factor out a couple of things here to improve maintenance. Helper methods. So, yeah, here. What's he looking at? This spot in particular, 584. So like maybe this preamble stuff, all of these checks. Probably starting from the ifdef here, and ending with to return with NS error abort. Oh, so this stuff. He thinks maybe we can put that into a helper. Okay. No build failure yet. As expected and good change. Okay. So let's take a look at open window with tab parent. he's thinking we take this chunk here down to here. So the creation of the Chrome window. He thinks that we can maybe put that into some kind of helper method. Really? It's not exactly the same. I mean, very similar looking code in open window internal. I guess? Open window internal. Let's see what open window internal does that's similar. So do they have the ifdef? They do, right here. And then they create the Chrome window. They do all these checks. They calculate the Chrome flags. The calculation of the Chrome flags happens in the... So maybe I could like reorganize this a little bit. This calculation of the Chrome flags in the open window internal case happens way up here. Here. So get rid of this, or like swap these. Set screen ID. Window Creator 2. Is this the only usage of Window Creator 2? Window Creator 2. Yeah, I think so. Okay, good. So maybe I can suck out all the uses of Window Creator 2. Okay, so there's some reorganization I can do in here, for sure. Still building. Interesting. I would have expected it to have died by now. Maybe I don't need that build stuff in there, and then Smog caught yet another defect of mine. That'd be brilliant. Okay. Let's see. What is currently checked out? It says add methods. Yeah, I don't want to do any sort of like monkeying around until we get to the, like, I want to finish the rebase, finish cleaning up this patch, and then do all the monkeying around in a patch that goes on top of the whole thing, I think. So I'd rather not do any extensive changes since this is all kind of stabilized. At least, I'll do it on top of it. That's it. Alright, well, I think we're at a standstill. I want to do some of this stuff, but we're waiting on this build. So what else can we do? There's this other bug about improving the perceived session restore duration. Now, is it possible to somehow work on that in parallel while we're waiting for this build? Well, we can do some thought experiments, and I can sort of swap in. It's been a while since we've worked on this bug. I can try and swap in some state. We've got like, I'm planning on capping the stream in about 20 minutes. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take, while we wait for this build, I'll take some time to just kind of like reload the state into my head of how this bug works. Because I took notes. That's what you should do, especially if you swap, you context switch a lot like I do, in order to like not waste time dump your state into notes. So I remember that I did a lot of investigation, and then here's the key line. I think I figured this out. We have some code in mtab progress listener. So one of those is created per tab, and there's a tab per browser, that's doing the work of setting the tab icon at various points for things like on location change, on state change. Like if we see state stop, then we use the default icon if we can't generate a favicon for the tab that just stopped. But when we restore background tabs for the about blank browsers that are being loaded in the background but aren't being restored, we're reacting to messages being sent up, but probably shouldn't. We probably shouldn't care about any messages that these background browsers are sending us. Yeah, the background about blanks are like useless. So, potential solution, try not having mtab progress listener for unrestored background tabs. Or try ignoring all messages from unrestored background tabs. Ignore messages from unrestored background tabs, or don't have a tab progress listener for unrestored background tabs, or don't send messages from content if the content is an about blank and it somehow knows it hasn't had its content restored yet. Does it have that state? Let's check it out. Content. Oh boy. Content dash session store is the name of the frame script here. And then there's this like restore history, restore tab content. Build failed. Hey, that's what we wanted, kinda. And I needed it because in file included from AppShell and Zool Windows 64. Tab parent. Yes, I needed it for tab parent. See here. Here, let me pump up the font. So this failure is because I import tab parent.h. And let me make this readable. Tab parent.h, which imports id type.h, which needs this thing, and you only get that thing if you have included the special Chromium config Moz build stuff. So I will tell Smog that yes, it's because I included tab parent. Done my due diligence there. Correct. Points for Smog. Yes, why do we ever want to return the normal size here? I think that's related to this question. These two questions are the same because they're the fallbacks for whenever there is no primary tab parent or primary content shell. And like I said, I'm pretty certain that there is like a case that we have to consider whenever there is no primary tab parent or primary content shell. Then we're supposed to like size the root doc shell of the Zool window. Okay. So back to where we were before. Don't send messages from content. So is it possible for the content to know that it hasn't yet been restored? Well, yeah. I mean, it can. It doesn't hold that state. And you have to remember that sometimes those tabs can be browsed elsewhere without restoring the tab content. So I wonder if it's actually smarter to do the logic in the parent instead of... Well, the messages aren't even being sent here. Like the on location stuff, that's all coming from browser child. .js. Location change. we have a top level thing, then we send here, send an async message. The web progress listener is initted right away. I don't think this last one will work because the content doesn't really know its restored state. Session store is paying more attention to that. Is there a way to like unrestored background tabs need to like be ignored? I think I messed around with this before. I had kind of a patch in the works. Let me see if I can find it. Whoop, HG whip. Whip! Let's see. Oh, lots of stuff here. Pointer lock. Dispatch. I should like just search, and the search I'm looking for is like, yeah, oh, here it is. Here it is. Right here. And what I did was I checked to see whether or not the tab progress listener was enabled or not. I added an API for the tab being pending. Alright, so let's rebase that onto central. I think I can do that even though I'm building. I don't think that's going to change my working directory. Or at least it shouldn't. Hopefully it won't. Even if it does, it's only changing C or JavaScript, so it's okay. Oh, I can't because there are uncommitted changes locally. What are those changes? Right, that was my one big change here. Come on. There we go. So now, are we able to do it without changing the working directory, maybe? It's gonna flip out. We shall see. Is this the price of me trying to do too many things at once. It's rebasing. Oh boy. You know what? I'm gonna stop the build. Because I do think it changes the working directory, and I think that will end up like screwing some things up. That's mostly just instinct, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Ugh, and then that problem. JSON object could be decoded. Whatever. Alright. Back to building. I'm pretty sure. Because what's our... We should still be in the same spot. Yep, we are. Good. What's the time? 2:18. 2:18. Yeah, because the working directory changed. Got to reticulate the splines again. And then it does the export step, which is really not necessary, but okay. It's like all the headers and stuff. This patch that I wrote though, like, is it? I wonder how good is it? HG export. This sort of half-baked idea of whether or not the tab browser or the tab listener, tab progress listener is enabled. I imagine I thought at one point about removing the tab progress listener, like destroying it and creating a new one. Let's take a look inside tabbrowser.xml. Tab progress listener. Tab listener. Add progress listener. You can notify all. And then what you do is anytime we hear from stuff, then we connect it to the tab. The location changes to any of that business. And how is it connected? The listener, whenever we, that's if we update the remoteness, but if we like are linking the browser to the tab, then we create a browser filter, web progress filter. We add the progress listener. There's no way to turn the filter like off, is there? Filter. Tab filters set. Browser status filter. Is there like an API that allows me to shut it off? Browser status filter. I love this. Do not touch this code unless you know what you're doing. Top level is loading. State change. Progress change. Location change. It like sends things on a delay. I don't think there's an API for shutting it off. Or like ignoring it for a while. Mask. A notify mask. You don't, it doesn't even pay attention to the notify mask. NSI web progress. .idl. Progress listener 2. Progress change, refresh attempted. Progress. Can we turn it off? These are all state codes, state change. These are callbacks. No, there's no method for shutting it off. Alright. I mean, you can always remove it. The easiest way is to like remove it from the filter. You remove the progress listener from the filter. And then like as soon as it's restored, restore tab content. Mark the tab as restoring, update remoteness. Is there like a listener? Does it ever use the listeners in here? On location. No, it doesn't know and doesn't care, and probably that's for the best. What are we gonna do? Gonna look in our build. Our build's still going. I'm gonna play the air horn just because I like it so much. This one's for Barrett, who might still be watching, I'm not sure. This one's for you, bud. That was for you, Barrett. Or Dennis, who also likes the air horn, who might be watching. I had talked about Dennis last week. I'm trying to find out if there is, like, what's the best pattern here? What's the best pattern for responsibility here? Session store knows the restored state of tabs. The tab progress listener is managed solely by tab browser.xml binding. Tab browser.xml binding is known to reach into session store from time to time. I think this implies that the correct procedure is to expose the needful things from session store and have tab browser do any of the manipulation. Tab restored. We send a notification. We send this SS tab restored event. I wonder if that's ever used inside tab browser. It is not. Do we send other notifications? Um, hmm. Restore tab content. No, we don't. Don't tell anyone whenever we do put the browser into the pending state, though. Is that what my patch does? Looks at the pending state? Well, I added this is pending. And all that does is just looks at the pending attribute. Does tab browser ever look inside the pending attributes? Yeah, it does. It looks at the tab pending. That is definitely used, so we could use that instead. Instead of exposing that on session store. See if the tab is pending. But like, there's no great way of knowing whenever a tab has been marked to be restored. Like, it's in the process of like restoring. SS tab restoring history. And maybe we should do that. Maybe we should fire an event when we're restoring the history. Or maybe whenever we flip the remoteness. Anytime we flip the remoteness, we're going to load that about blank. Oh, it's 2:30. I got to roll. I'm sorry, folks. It's my alarm went off and so many things. Okay, so I'm going to cap this episode right here. Thanks so much for watching episode 63 of The Joy of Coding. I'm sorry to cap it a little bit abruptly there. I have a meeting to run off to. I hope this was somewhat enjoyable. I'll see you next week. We'll probably be doing some profile analysis. If you're interested in knowing what I'm talking about, check out the Firefox subreddit on Reddit if that's a place that you feel okay going to. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.